Say that I'm doing quite well here as we hop into game one of this PVZ semifinals. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss. Recently joined the team Twisted Minds? Is that what it was? I believe so. It's Classic. His opponent in the lower right-hand corner, the red Zerg for Dragon Kitesy. It's Dark. Dark looked very strong in that match versus Nightmare. Classic, though, is a little bit stronger than Nightmare, I would say. Possibly the next tier of player. Nightmare definitely put up a good fight, especially, I would say, in game one, which was on this map. We'll see what Classic wants to go for. Has been pretty standard in this matchup. I don't know if I expect Classic to go too crazy here. But you know what? I don't think we saw any Stargate openers from Nightmare, and I think Classic might be going for a Stargate opener. There's a couple Oracles. That's one thing that I feel like Nightmare might have been missing in that match. Was that Oracle harass? It's usually a very crucial part of Heroes gameplay. And Hero's been the blueprint for PVZ for a while. Him and Max Packs. But Classic's Oracle control is very good. Classic actually, I feel like even since right when he came back from military service, I remember being like, damn, his micro is very good. It took him a while to get back into like the builds and into the macro of it. Feeling comfortable with everything, but his micro is pretty consistently on point. It's so apparent in PvPs. It's just such a volatile matchup, and then every now and then you'll just see they have like the same exact units, and Classic wins just every single time. It's kind of insane. And yeah, there it is, Stargate opener. Would be cool to see Phoenixes. It is a bit unfortunate that the meta is so settled right now in some of these matchups that it feels like we never see anything different or unique. Or we haven't in a while anyways. Phoenix gameplay against Zerg used to be one of my favorite things to watch. We just don't really get it. Unless you're on Roddy's channel. In which case, you will always get Phoenix gameplay. Even if Phoenixes are at their worst. See how many Oracles Classic decides to make. Wouldn't be surprised to see 2 or 3. Sometimes even 4. Yeah, second one already started up. Spores on the way for Dark. Well, looks like a nice standard game for us, for the time being. Oracle gets 4 kills. Oh my god, he gets 5 kills? Just snuck right in the middle here. Right in between the two bases and gets 5 kills. Actually really, really nice for Classic. I feel like that first Oracle usually doesn't get much. In fact, I see a lot of players not even try to get drones. They just go see what's going on, and then when they get 2 Oracles, they'll join them up and finally try to get some workers done. Workers killed, but Spore a tiny bit late. Classic takes advantage of it, sees those queens slightly out of position. Able to take down 5 drones early on, and that worker count is still pretty much dead even right now as Classic's third base is almost done. It's going to make this follow-up a lot stronger for him. Ooh, Classic diving for a queen now. I think he might have gotten one. Yeah, he killed one of the queens. The second one has to pull all the way back to the Spore Crawler and join up with a buddy. You got to have the buddy system. I think it was just the 2 Oracles. No more Oracles on the way. A couple of Adepts shading across. Classic getting very aggressive. Again, this is something that we really see from Hero and Max Packs, 2 of the strongest Protosses in the world. And Classic showcasing it for us as well. how important it is to keep the pressure on and keep your opponent really focused on defending everything. It's how you force mistakes from your opponent, and not even just mistakes, but everybody only has so much attention they can pay to their game. And if you force your opponent to pay more attention to what's going on than you're paying attention, it's always very good for you. And as you see, more drones going down. A couple of adepts did die for these kills, and now an Oracle going down. Actually very painful for Classic, but I think he's gotten enough damage to make it worth it. His third base is up and running. Blink is halfway done. +1 is halfway done. There's already a Robo Bay and a second Robo on the way, as Classic sees no aggression from Dark and is just happy to keep teching up, skipping some of these warp-ins, keeping the unit count very low back at home so he can focus on other things. Dark, in the meantime, is getting into +1 melee. He's got 20 Lings on the way. You might want to actually put some pressure onto this base. But most importantly, he's got that Spire coming up, and I have no idea where the Spire is, and I don't think Classic has any idea where the Spire is either. So he's not going to know that mutas are on the way until they're probably already hitting his base. With that being said, Classic's hitting with these Blink Stalkers already, so the Lings are just going to have to respond to them. Blink not quite done yet. The Oracle, though, going to help out against those Lings until Blink is finished up and the Stalkers can just run away on their own. Double Colossus production, and I'll tell you, Colossi not particularly good at defending against Mutalisks. Cool. Oracle seems to be out of energy. Some fancy Prism Micro here out of Classic to keep these Stalkers safe while he blinks them over the rock. Looks like he wants to keep that pressure on, but 11 mutas being made for Dark. And if those mutas run across the map, Classic is in some real trouble. There is just not much back at home to defend. No Phoenixes being made. The Stalkers are being heavily aggressive. Classic is just not thinking about mutas. And now here come the mutas. The Stalker's going to blink away. I think they need to recall, but it's so late. The mutas are going to kill the Prism. They're going to get 1 or 2 of those Stalkers. The Stalkers are home. A Phoenix is being chrono boosted out right now. And I think more Stalkers will warp in. The Colossi are going to have to stay at this base to help against the Lings. And they need some Stalkers to help protect them. Cannon's going down as well. Classic just getting all the defense he can up against these mutas. Mutas come in. Run into this first Phoenix, but one Phoenix really not that scary. He's going to tag the mutas. I like the tag on the mutas. Lings diving into the main base as well, but not able to actually break in through the natural. The mutas don't really get much done. They come in. They get swatted away. So far, nice defense from Classic. This muta's not really doing much. It's kind of a big deal because, well, Dark is planning on going hard on the mutas. He's continuing to make them. He's got +1 on the way. He's up to 18 of them. And I think this is a problem if Classic doesn't realize that this is happening. If Classic realizes what's going on, he can make enough Phoenixes to really counteract this. The mutas, or the Stalkers, can hold on until the Phoenixes are ready. Oh no, the door's open. Classic. Classic. Oh no, he had so much time. But maybe he didn't have a warp-in available. The Ling's trying to get to that cannon, but good hold position on the probes. Ooh, looks like +2 will actually finish up before these Lings get it. Actually, it looks like the Lings won't get it. Ling's trying to get some damage done. I think a few probes have gone down. Actually, no, only 1 probe has gone down this game. It's kind of insane. He finally gets a second probe kill. But mutas and Lings getting in and just not really getting the damage done right now. But they are killing stuff. They're killing Phoenixes that are popping out. They're killing cannons and gas geysers. And I think it's time for the base trade. Dark is going to hit now with the reinforcement Lings and mutas. Classic is just A-moving across the map. No Archons with this makes it a little bit scarier. Oh man, this Prism needs to definitely not die. There's a couple probes with this as well. Classic knows this is base trade time. He knows he knew it was going to happen. He knew the counterattack was coming. He's hoping the cannons can get some kills. Probes just mining as much as they can before the Lings and mutas kill absolutely everything here. And Classic just diving forward. He needs to get this Colossus up. He needs to bring these probes up as well. These are the only probes on this side of the map. Everything else seems to be dead. Classic down to 15 workers. Yeah, it looks like a lot of the probes are going up. There we go. Muta's popping out and dying here. That is a bit painful for Dark. Dark is down 20 army supply. But remember, he is on Ling Muta right now. So he's at a lot more mobile. Oop, the Muta's going to find this Colossus. Stalkers cannot blink under that to save it. And that's a dead Colossus. That's a big deal. +2 on the flyer attacks. Not going to happen. Drone's being pulled to fight. That is not going to happen either. Classic's base is gone. He needs to put something else down very soon, actually. Where are... Oh, no, these probes. Oh, no, the probes. Oh, no, the probes. Every probe. There is one probe left alive. Is there anything for Classic? Does he have any buildings? Does he have any buildings? Oh, my God, he's losing the last of his buildings right now. He needs to put something down. He's got one probe. He needs to put a building down. Anything. Okay, the pylon goes down. Woo-hoo-hoo. This is it. This is the last of his buildings out on the map. And the moment Dark realizes it, oh, he realizes it right now. He knows this pylon is here, and he knows that's the last thing. I think he dives on it, right? You just have to dive on it. Classic puts down 3 more pylons. He's out of money. All these pylons means he doesn't have enough for a Nexus because he was forced to put one down. Oh my God. Dark has done it. I really don't think Classic can win this game. And Dark's got bases. He's got this base. He's got this base. He's got 20 drones out. He can mine. Classic has nothing. The Muta's circling around. Trying to get under this. Classic is on a clock right now, and he knows it. The probe in the prism. But he can't build anything with that probe, so I don't even know why he bothers holding on to it. The Mutas come in. They get 1 pylon. Oh, they get 2 pylons. Honestly, these Mutas could dive for it. They would get both of them. 100% they get both of them. Dark is playing it safe. He doesn't want to lose everything. But he's got some lings left too, and I feel like... Yeah, I just feel like this is going to be it. The Mutas really don't want to rush it. The thing is, Dark knows exactly what's here.
Our forces are under attack.
Zealots are trying to counterattack, but they get caught by the lings. And even if they clean up all of these lings, fancy micro out of Classic. The Mutas could do this, though. The Mutas could do it. There's 2 queens here. How are there queens? Oh my God, it's because the spawning pool is still alive. That's actually wild. Because the spawning pool is still alive, Dark is... He's won this game. 100%. 100% won this game. The Mutas decide to pull back. Ooh. Maybe they can't do that. Dark is being safe. He doesn't want to lose this game. This is a 1 game. He knows it. Classic is doing everything in his power to hold on here, but Classic would have to kill everything, and there's just no time. Oh my God, a new Spire is on the way up. Dark has 900 gas in the bank. Actually incredible. More Stalkers here for Classic. He's still thwarting these Mutas from killing things, but... Woo, oh, the Mutas just go for it. They're just going for it. There it is. GG Classic. Able to type the GG before Dark takes the game. What a wild one. What a wild one. What Protoss can say they haven't been in that position? It was just... Classic was really ready for it, but the creep didn't clear quick enough for him to put a Nexus down, and then he lost every single probe except for the 1. And he just didn't have a chance. He didn't have any choice. He had to put down 1 pylon, and that made him not have enough money for a Nexus. Dark was able to put him right into a corner. Nobody puts Baby in a corner, but Dark put Classic in a corner. And now we'll put them both in the game too. On Ancient Cistern. I really like that game from Classic. I think if he had been able to get a scout on the Spire, or maybe the first like when he first noticed the mutas. He did deflect them very well, though. I guess he just didn't want to overcommit to the defense. He didn't realize how heavy Dark was going to make mutas. And it's always such a tough thing when you're up against a player going for mutas, but it's hard to know how to respond in that game. It didn't quite work out for our Protoss player. In the upper right-hand corner, it's Classic, representing Team Twisted Minds. His opponent in the lower left-hand corner, well, he liked those Mutalisks. Ling Muta was the name of the game there for Dragon Kites's Dark. I think if Classic could redo that game, he would have maybe dropped down a second Stargate. There's nothing that counters Mutas harder than if you get enough Phoenixes out. And enough Phoenixes is like 8. 8 Phoenixes, especially if you can get to Annie and Pulse Crystals. Whew. Mutas just don't stand a chance. They just can't. They can never catch them. There's no chance. But it does take a while to get there. Classic didn't want to spend that time. Didn't think it was a good idea to invest that heavily in the Phoenixes. But the base trade worked out better for Dark. Archons there too. I feel like a few Archons there really changes things for Classic. Archons are just so good against Ling Muta. We'll see how game 2 goes. It is fun to see Dark go for the Mutas. I like when we see that +1 flyer attacks come out, meaning the player is definitely committing to just going heavy Muta. I think that makes it so much more fun. I don't think the build's going to be too different from Classic in this one. It's really Dark who I'm expecting to give us something a little bit crazy or different at the start. But not really seeing it. Ooh, he tricks the probe. He tricked the probe. Or did he? Yeah, look at that. Dark gets to take his third. No pylon block for you, Classic. Maybe it'll be Phoenixes this time. Maybe Classic's so scared of the Mutas he just goes heavy Phoenix. Damn. He's trying to manifest it, you know? Looking forward to seeing how Dark responds to the same opening. Classic did get a lot of damage last game in the opening. He ended up killing like 10 drones early game. He did lose an Oracle. He did lose a couple of Adepts. I think overall, Classic should be very happy with that opening. Just didn't work out as the game got a little bit longer. I think Classic's going to just try for the same kind of strategy here. A couple of Oracles, maybe a few Adepts trying to poke. Link Stalkers, all the good stuff that you expect in a PvZ. Dark going for this Evo Chamber in the backside of his base again. +1 melee. The +1 melee position. Oracle does get a couple of kills. 3 kills this game. Not quite the 5 of last game, but still pretty solid. He's taking quite a bit of damage. Needs to get out of there. Regen that shields. Join up with a second Oracle? Question mark? Is a second Oracle. I was worried for a second there wasn't one. We were going to see something very different. This might actually be Glades. I'm not seeing a Forge. I'm seeing 2 more gates come up. But no, it is Blink once again. Oracles dive forward. The Spore Crawler not quite finished, but the Queens will kill one of those Oracles. And this time, only 3 drones going down? Nope. 5. Okay. That's going to be 8, 9 total. Classic does find a couple extra kills here and there to make it at least a little bit more worthwhile. 9 kills. The Adepts are coming in now, but there are Lings here to help keep those drones safe. So the Adepts don't finish that shade. Might not be able to find that damage. And ooh, I saw no Forge earlier, which is why I thought it was actually going to be Glaive Adepts. But the Blink comes up, and then Classic drops the double Forge. That's kind of fun. All right, going to keep those upgrades going and flowing. Lair on the way for Dark. We've seen no hint of any other tech than Lings right now. Dark going to try to keep an eye on what Classic's going for. I think he spotted those Stalkers, so he's got to know. I mean, this is what PvZ is these days. Blink is on the way. I just like seeing that 1-1 out of Classic. It makes me think he might go for a big attack with 1-1 finishing up, but no, 4th base on the way already. Under 6 minutes. Classic starting up that 4th Nexus. Full on macro out of our Protoss. Building another Oracle as well. I assume this Oracle is going to be mainly for defense and scouting. Try to help the other guy out. Yeah, I don't know the Classic scene too much, but there's not too much to see right now. That Roach Horn would be the most important thing to spot. Oh, that is an Evo chamber. Where's the Roach Horn? There it is. All the way in the back of the base. Stalker's pushing forward now as Blink is about to finish. I love that Classic was, he did his last game too, hitting with the Stalkers right before Blink was done, using the Oracle to help out. Oh, one Stalker will fall at the expense of quite a few Lings. Adepts getting into the base over here, targeting down a few drones. Looks like that'll be it though, just the 3. Infestation Pit was spotted though, and hopefully Classic clicked on that. That is an important building to spot in a very weird position here. Is Dark going to go for Swarm Hosts? I don't know. Now that that's been spotted, it feels like he's not. He's got Lings on the way. He's got Roach Speed and +1 melee or missile attacks. Yeah, he's just going to go for the Hive. So if he was going to go for Swarm Hosts, not having it anymore. He does have kind of a lot of gas banked. Makes me wonder what the plans were. Classic's 4th base is up and running. That 1-1 is done. 2-2 is now on the way. That's going to make these Stalkers a lot stronger, but huge Ling counterattack diving into the 3rd, which has a cannon but no shield battery support. And the 4th, which has a cannon but no shield battery support. Oh my god, this is a lesson to everybody. Build batteries. Build batteries better at your base. The Stalkers on the other side of the map doing some good damage, killing some queens. But now they blink forward. The Lings are here. Drones getting pulled as well. A few drones going down, but 17 probes have died. The 4th base might be in some trouble over there for Classic. Looks like it's cleaned up. Recall goes down to get the Stalkers out of there. The Ling's going to kill the Zealots. Yeah, the worker count ends up even. Dark looks like he might want to put some pressure on with these units he's been forced to build, but he is droning behind this as well. The Robo stayed alive, crucially, so Classic was able to hold on to everything here. He's got a Prism out. He's got 4 Oracles. Lings are hitting in another counterattack. There is a shield battery over here, and the Oracles are at the 3rd base. So Classic is buttoned up back at home. Going to push across the map. That 2-2 is about 2/3 of the way done. Dark, in the meantime, is about to finish +1 missile attacks as he starts up Adrenal and +3 melee, getting into Vipers. Dark's getting into the next phase of tech. Classic is absolutely not. He is on pure Gateway right now. He is full Gateway manning it. In fact, he doesn't even have a Templar Archives. This is Stalker Zealot City right here for Classic. 2-2 is almost done. Looks like he's not going to wait for that. He's going to poke with some Stalkers, see if he can't trade with some Lings. By trade, I mean get big value against the Lings. The Lings going to keep on chasing, but they're chasing into a field of charge lots. So now the Roaches are doing the same thing to the Zealots that the Stalkers are doing to the Lings. Viper's trying to gain some energy. Blinding Clouds could be huge. Not really the... Abduct's not going to be the most useful thing here. I think it is going to be Blinding Clouds going down, especially if these Stalkers blink forward. Classic does need to be very careful and very aware of what he's going up against here. The Oracles can help out quite a bit too. I love that those turn on. There's no Queens nearby. Oh, and in fact, a Parasitic Bomb on the Oracles. I think get some damage. Did that just kill the Observer? That's hilarious. Classic going to keep on pressuring. It is Roach Ling against Zealot Stalker. The army supplies in favor of Classic a little bit here. No Banelings is so painful. Bile's trying to go down, but there's no Queens to help against these Oracles. The Stalkers do blink forward. Where are those Vipers? Where are the Blinding Clouds? Try to stop these Stalkers from firing. They're going for the Parasitic Bombs. The Oracles seem to be pretty much useless at this point. They're out of juice, but the 4th base goes down. Dark gets a lot of those drones out of there, but not all of them. Classic takes a base, kills some drones, and has pushed the army back. Dark trying to get some more units out to hold on here. But now it's Roaches against this huge Blink Stalker army, and these Roaches, they're not quite as well upgraded. They don't have any Carapace upgrades, and GG gets called as Dark can't keep holding. Classic takes game 2. He ties us up 1-1. Well, that is something, ain't it? Dark tying us up, or Classic tying us up, rather, with kind of a wild, I love the double upgrade heavy Stalker Zealot. Actually feels very, very similar to the way you used to play against Terran as Protoss. Double chronoing upgrades. Instead of heavy Zealot, though, it's like heavy Stalker with the Zealot support. I feel like Dark was really missing Banelings in that one, but with so many Stalkers, the Banelings just were never going to connect, and Dark never really got the economy he needed to make that happen. He was able to kill a lot of probes, but he didn't kill a base, and he lost drones as well. The worker count ended up even. It was perfect for Classic. Now we're going to Altitude for game 3. A very big map for this PVZ. As we hit up match point. Spawning in the upper right-hand corner of Altitude, we have the blue Protoss player for Twisted Minds. It's Classic. His opponent in the lower left for Dragon Kites Gaming in the red. It's Dark. Very cool to see Classic able to go toe-to-toe with Dark these days. When he first came back from his military service, and it took a little while. I feel like Classic took a while to warm up and get back up to that level that we expect him at, that we're seeing him at now. But he's here. He's made it. I Am Katowice was a strong showing for him. I feel like since then he's been able to consistently take games and series off of some of the best players in the world. I think he's ranked like 11 on a Ligulac. Very strong player. One of my favorite players to watch too, just historically. I feel like Classic is usually a very strong, very solid player, but maybe like 1 out of every 10 games or so, he will mix in something a little bit more out there. And I feel like his ability to drop that in every now and then does make him very strong and very scary. You know, you do get some players who are like just super solid. They play the same standard every time and they're so good at it. We like Hero Marine maybe. But, you know, you got to be able to drop in those cheeses, drop in a cheeky play, maybe an all-in. Keep your opponents on their toes a little bit. Or you could just lean fully into that like SOS. Where a macro game suddenly becomes a cheese. I don't know, after all these years, it's still the strategy part of this game that keeps everything fresh. I feel like we love to watch the mechanics, the micro, the macro. We love to see these players that are just unfathomably good play this game. But at the end of the day, if the strategies were just the same every single game, it'd be kind of boring. I'm glad these players will give us something new. As I say that, Classic goes for yet another Stargate opener in Game 3, giving us 3 games with the exact same opening. Probably just going to build a few Oracles with this. Dark desperately trying to get a probe, but these lings are slow, and the probes are being microed very well. So it looks like no probes will go down despite Dark's best efforts. And hey, what's that? An Oracle? Who would have guessed? Who would have called it? This music's so epic. See if the Oracles can get the same damage they've gotten in the last couple of games. 10 in game 1, 9 in game 2. Classic has looked very solid with these early games. Ooh, probe going to go down to the lings. Yes, indeed. The probe going to be forced to come out. Man, can you imagine that? Your friend goes out there to drop a third nexus, and you're like, be careful, buddy. He's like, I will be. Don't worry. And your commander's like, we need another probe to go put down a third. You're like, oh no. Where'd my buddy go? RIP that probe. His friend is brave, taking his place. Oracle so far not getting any drone damage done. One of them was forced to stay home to deflect those lings, but now that two of them are coming in, they might be able to find something here. Queen gonna get jumped on. Try to go back to that spore crawler, but it will die. Whew. But that means no drones die this time for Dark. That's a much nicer opening. Well, it's gonna be a very different kind of start for Classic. And by very different, I mean slightly different. Instead of upgrading Blink on the Twilight Council, it's going to be Glaives on the Twilight Council. Oh, and I think Dark is... I don't know if he's smelling what's going on or if he's just putting down the safety Bane nest. He's got 24 lings on the way already, though. So he's got to be feeling something here. +1 melee is a little bit of ways from being done, but so is Glaives. If Dark has all these lings out, though, by the time these adepts come across the map, that's going to be a real problem for Classic. In fact, this is a real problem for Classic. Maybe not that much of a problem. The good positioning on these adepts keeps them alive, or one adept, rather. And 20 more lings on the way. Dark is going all out on the ling production right now, morphing some banelings as well. He knows what's coming. He saw no stalkers. He saw a bunch of adepts. He knows it's got to be Glaives this time. Banelings are going to be crucial, but even more than that, Dark needs to keep some of these lings around to chase the Shades. While some of them help support the Queens. Queens are going to pull back. Shades going to finish. No! Oh, that was an awful choice for Classic. I genuinely think it was a mistake, because every single adept is dead. Looks like he might have been looking back at home as Banelings get on top of the probe line, and Dark holds the adepts on the other side of the map, crushes the probes with the double-pronged Baneling attack. And honestly, I want to say that's kind of it. Dark, the worst thing for Dark here is he just killed 16 probes, and the worker count's dead even. He's building a few now, but he also needs to get some lings out to respect the fact that Classic could just push across the map with a few more adepts. Looks like he's going to try to push in before that even gets to happen. Try to bust these adepts with the Banes, trying to get back on top of the probes. It's not really happening. The Oracle's trying to help out here, but they're pretty much out of juice. Stalkers warp in and die. And the lings get a lot of kills there, not on the probes, but on the army, before they pull back. Classic still at a solid worker count, though. It's 57 to 60. Dark has the fourth base, but it's not really doing anything right now. I feel like Dark is going to skyrocket ahead fairly soon, though. He's already gone up to 72 drones since I said that. I think that just kind of shows that Dark knows the exact moment he needs to start building drones. And all of a sudden, he's way ahead economically. 4 bases to 3. He's keeping this army aback by sending the lings across the map. The shield battery going to help out here quite a bit, and it looks like the lings will get shoved away by these soon-to-be Blink Stalkers. Wouldn't hate to see some adepts try to sneak across the map, but looks like Classic just wants to take a 4th base. wants to try to compete economically, and I think if he is able to hold this base, Classic might just be able to macro his way out of this, but 40 lings on the way for Dark. Jesus, how do you accumulate 40 larvae in a game like this? That's just wild. He's got a bunch of roaches too. Roach speed about to finish. +1 missile attack's about to finish. +1 melee is done. Dark's about to have a very scary, very large army. Classic is at half the army supply of his opponent. And I think we're about to see the bigger army supply win the game. Sometimes the bigger numbers do just win. The Oracle going to come in and try to help out, but I don't think it's quite enough here. 3 Oracles might be enough as the Stalkers blink away. Oh my god, but the Banelings from the north side. They kill the shield battery. They kill 17 more probes. And Classic down to 49 workers. He thought he could compete economically, and Dark said, no, I'm not going to let that happen. Not a chance in hell. Not a snowball's chance in hell. Classic. These Oracles doing their damnedest, but their damnedest doesn't seem like it's going to be enough, as Dark is just going to target down this Nexus. He is going to get this Nexus. The Oracles are out of juice. Stalker's killing some roaches over here, but I just don't think it matters. Dark is on 75 workers. He's got a 5th base nearly done. Infestation pit on the way. He is rocking and rolling. More lings coming out. More roaches are out already. Classic, he's back down to 3 bases. His army supply is lower. His upgrades are, well, his upgrades are okay. They're pretty solid. He's about to have +1 armor and +2 attack is nearly done. But he just doesn't have any tech. Feels like similar to what he was doing last game. But he wasn't able to get those numbers to snowball up and up, largely because those first group, that first group of adepts died. If those adepts get out of there and live, even with all the probes going down, I think Classic's in he's just in a significantly better spot, maybe even a good spot. But losing all of those adepts is just, I mean, really at the end of the day, coming back from that kind of deficit that Classic was in after that would have been insanely impressive, and it just doesn't feel like it's going to happen. Dark is playing it safe. He's staying back, but he is maxed right now, and I feel like now might be the time to put some pressure on. He's maxed. He's starting to bank. He's got a Hydra Den on the way. Dark is sitting pretty. Are the Oracles the only thing scaring him right now? I don't know. Stalker's a little out of position. The Oracles all turn on, kill a few of those lings, but the Banelings somehow get into the base, and 10 more probes go down. Classic just not allowed to get a good probe count up this game. 45 have died. That is actually insane. And now Dark's got Adrenal on the way. He's getting those Hydra upgrades so he can get into, I mean, even just a couple of Hydras to help out against these Oracles would be enough. Force fields going down. There's some beautiful force fields. Can trap a lot of lings. But look at it. Dark, as he loses lings, was just remaking them immediately. Another counterattack coming in here. The shield battery was killed earlier, so that comes back up. But his Classic's focused on that. Guess where the army is? Down here. The Oracle's pretty much out of juice to chase this away. And then more Banelings coming to the top side, getting a few more probes, forcing them all to pull off of mining. Classic just can't keep up with everything Dark has. Trying to chase down a Ravager with the Oracle here, but the Hydras are out now. Suddenly these Oracles are no longer the powerful unit they were before. And what is Classic doing all the way up here, away from home? The Lings get the full surround. Ravagers biling, Hydras coming in, and that looks like it's gonna be GG for Game 3. Dark poised to head to the finals of KSL.